There are so many things that I wish I had known about anxious attachment before I got into a relationship. But today I'm going to share with you the top 7 that I think anyone who struggles with anxious attachment needs to know. I'm going to share the top 7 things that I wish I had known about anxious attachment before I got into a relationship, in hope and in prayer that it will help you on your healing journey if you are struggling with anxious attachment. Because listen, anxious attachment ain't no joke. So I want to help as many women as I can to heal. But first, I am Vanetta, and welcome to the My Sister, My Seed YouTube channel. We are a nonprofit committed to helping women heal from anxious attachment through embodying and activating feminine energy. We also do a lot of work around sex trafficking, where we educate and empower young girls to keep them safe against traffickers. So go on over to our website, mysistermyseed.org. I'll leave a link below so you can check us out and learn more about us. And also, if this sounds like a community that you would want to be connected to, and I hope you do, why don't you hit the subscribe button and join the sisterhood? You can also, when you go to the website, click the button to join the sisterhood there. We would love to have you on board. All right, now let's jump into the 7 things that I wish I had known about anxious attachment before I got into a relationship. And again, I hope and pray that they will be beneficial to you. Now, I've made several videos, if you are just learning about anxious attachment, about what it is and where it comes from, the origins of it. So I'll link a few of those videos below as well, so you can check them out. But today we are just going to focus on these 7 things that I wish I had known, and I hope that they are helpful to you. The first thing that I wish I had known about anxious attachment going into a relationship was that we have a tendency, people with anxious attachment have a tendency to decenter themselves and center their partner in the relationship. So the partner becomes the whole universe and everything. And so I wish I was mindful of that, or I wish I knew that. And I know where it comes from now, because all attachment styles are formed in childhood. And so as a child, I didn't get the emotional love and the emotional fulfillment that I needed. So I had a lot of unmet needs around love and belonging and validation. And so going into a relationship, I was looking, unbeknownst to me, I was looking for my partner to give me all of those things. So I had decentered myself and made my partner, pretty much like the parent that you look up to. Because when you're a child and you're looking for those things, you're looking for an adult to give you those things. You're looking for your parents or your initial caregivers to give you those things. But as an adult now, I am the adult that has to give myself those things. I can't get belonging and validation from my partner. Those are things I have to show up to the relationship with already intact. And so number 1 on the list that I wish I had known about anxious attachment is that people who struggle with this attachment style have a tendency to decenter themselves and center their partners. And when you learn that going in, you will be more mindful to, not do it. The second thing that I wish I had known is that anxious attachment would cause me to be attracted and attractive to emotionally unavailable men and men who have an avoidant attachment style. Listen, as an anxiously attached person formerly, I definitely love closeness and love to be intimate and tight and bonded with my partner. But avoidant types are the opposite. They fear and flee closeness and intimacy, something I wanted. So these two partners normally gravitate to each other, and it's interesting why that is. And it is because you are really looking to recreate your childhood. So since I was emotionally neglected as a child, or didn't get all of my emotional needs met, I was attracting a partner who wouldn't meet my needs so I could recreate my childhood. I hope that makes sense to you. But that's what you do when you are anxiously attached. You gravitate towards what will be normal for you. And what was normal for me was being in an intimate relationship with someone who could not or would not meet my needs. So that is something that I wish I had known prior to getting into a relationship, that I attract and I am attractive to men who are emotionally unavailable and men who also struggle with avoidant attachment. Another thing that I wish I had known about anxious attachment is that it made me very controlling and very impatient. I rushed into relationships and it was a result of anxious attachment. And I wanted to control everything because I was so afraid of being hurt, so afraid of being abandoned, so afraid of the unknown that I wanted to control everything. And I was very impatient, and being impatient is a part of that control. And so that is something I wish I had known, because it would have made me relax and calm down and not be anxious, because there are so many things that are not in your control. And I didn't know that because I struggle with anxious attachment, that was being out of control was on steroids for me. It was something that I was really mindful of. And so I was really, really impatient and controlling. And it's just not helpful to be in a relationship with someone who is controlling and who is impatient. And I'm talking about myself. So if that is you, watch out for that while you are struggling and healing out of anxious attachment, because controlling and being impatient are really going to destroy any relationship that you're in, whether it's a romantic, a friendship. It's just not good. So watch out for that, because these tips that I'm giving you and these 7 things that I wish I had known before I got into a relationship are not just going to be helpful for you in terms of a romantic relationship. They're going to be helpful in all your relationships, because you're just not anxious when it gets to romance and romantic partners. You know, these traits kind of follow you around everywhere. So be mindful of that. The next thing, and this may be one of the most important things that I wish I had known about anxious attachment, is that it causes a lot of chronic illness. And that's so important, because when you are anxiously attached, that means your autonomic nervous system is on high alert all the time, or it can go from 0 to 60 just like that. And it is just not good for your blood pressure, for your heart rate, and it causes a lot of disease in the body. So your nervous system is not regulated, and your body is making a lot of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And when you are on high alert, in that fight or flight mode all the time, it is just wreaking havoc on your body. And so it can cause a lot of stress. It can cause a lot of chronic illness, heart disease, hypertension. And I struggled with high blood pressure at a point in my life where I was on medication. Now, it was a low dosage of medication, but I was still on it because, you know, I was eating healthy, but being a person who is anxiously attached, it's just not good for your body. Anxious attachment wreaks havoc on your nervous system, and it can cause a lot of chronic illness. So you definitely want to heal yourself from being anxiously attached. The next thing and I think this is number 5, that I wish I had known about anxious attachment is how it disconnected me from my feminine energy. I had a lot of wounded feminine energy, and that meant that I was more masculine in relationships than I was feminine. So I was controlling. Yes, I was impatient. Yes, but I couldn't relax. I couldn't let a man lead because I did not trust men. And that was something subconsciously I just didn't know. I thought I did, but I really didn't. And so I was disconnected from my feminine energy, and that was because to be a feminine woman, you have to relax. You have to let go of control. You have to let men lead, in, so to speak, and relax and not try to take the wheel. And as an anxious person showing up in a relationship, none of that worked for me because I felt safe, thinking I was safe when I was controlling everything. But releasing control and allowing a man to lead is something that feminine women desire, is something we deserve if you are in a relationship with a healthy masculine man. Don't just give control to somebody who doesn't care about you and who is not fully aware of his masculine energy. But when you connect with a man who is really in touch and in tune with his masculine energy, and you can relax into yours and feel emotionally safe and secure, it's a beautiful thing. But you can't get there until you heal from anxious attachment. So that is another thing that I wish that I had known before I got into a relationship, was that I was disconnected from my feminine energy. Now, number 6 is kind of connected to that, because what I wish I had known about anxious attachment was that my polarity was off. And I know that this may sound like the same, but to me it's different, because again, a masculine man and a feminine woman have 2 different roles in a relationship. And because I was disconnected from my feminine energy, and because I didn't understand polarity, I made every relationship that I got into very difficult for the man. And I believe they tried, but as a woman who has wounded feminine energy and wounded masculine energy, because all of us have a little bit of both, it is just not going to do a relationship well. So not understanding polarity along with being disconnected from my feminine energy was something that I wish I had known. I would have had more pleasant, enjoyable relationships, because I would have shown up, more fun, more relaxed, and more willing to give control up, because you don't want to control your man. So at the end of the day, I wish I had known that anxious attachment would throw off polarity in relationships. So I didn't know that, but you do, and make sure you are mindful of it, especially if you have a really good masculine man. You do not want to turn him off by showing up more masculine and not being in your feminine. And so finally, number 7, and I think this one has more to do with healing out of anxious attachment, but I still wish I had known it before I got into a relationship, and that is how valuable meditation and reprogramming your subconscious mind is to you healing. Meditation has changed my life, and reprogramming that old program that told me I wasn't loved and I wasn't valuable and I desperately needed to be validated. All that old programming went out, and all of the control, all of that dissipated with me meditating, learning to meditate. And I meditate each and every day. It is a new spiritual practice for me, and I don't go a day without setting time aside to quiet my mind and see myself and show up fully for myself in meditation. But also, I want to highly recommend to you subconscious mind reprogramming. And so that's the form of meditation where you do when you're asleep, because your subconscious mind runs 95% of your life. It is an old program that you think only 5% of your conscious mind that you are aware of is doing the running of your life, making decisions. And I do have a video on that, and I'm going to link it below as well. But your subconscious mind runs 95% of your life. And if it is tuned into an old program, a childhood program, and it is, if you have never done the inner work and shadow work to heal those old stories and old programming, you are running on that. And you need to change, especially if you suffer from anxious attachment. You need to reprogram your mind and and reparent yourself. And I believe that that's what reprogramming your mind and meditation does. And I simply began doing, I don't do the subconscious sleep meditation every day. I do the, meditation every day, but the sleeping every night with a sleep meditation, I don't do that every day, but I highly recommend that you do it for at least 2 months if you're trying to reprogram your brain. And there are thousands of them on YouTube. You can find thousands of different kinds of sleep meditation depending on what you're trying to heal or what you're trying to reprogram in your mind. There are thousands of them, and I highly recommend them to you because they will help you. Nothing has helped me faster to heal out of anxious attachment than meditation. So I highly recommend that. So those are the 7 things that I wish I had known about anxious attachment before I got into a relationship. And I really hope that they are helpful to you. Now, do me a favor, let me know in the comments if this video was helpful, if you are struggling with anxious attachment, and what are you doing to heal out of it? Are you in a relationship while you are struggling and finding out that you are anxiously attached? And if that relationship is with a secure man, a secure masculine man, or do you think you're attached to an emotionally unavailable man? I would love to hear it in the comments. And please know that when you leave a comment in this community, what you are really doing is speaking to other women who are a part of this community who also need encouragement and support. And who knows that just the encouragement or the story or the yeah, me too can help another woman as she's on her healing journey. So again, leave a comment below. I can't wait to, interact with you all in the comments because I love to do that. But also don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this video with another woman who may need this kind of support. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.